Hey guys, and welcome to my non-spoiler discussion of The Deliverance, the new film by Lee Daniels, starring Andra, Glenn Close, and Monique. Monique is back, baby! She and Lee Daniels, they broke bread, they blamed everything on Oprah, and she's back, better than ever! So I actually already filmed a full review video for this immediately after I watched the movie several days ago, but I'm glad that I sat in my thoughts a little bit, thought on it more. I scrapped that video because I originally gave the movie a 6 out of 10, but I realized that was fully because I was just so happy to see Monique back in a dramatic role. I really think that she is a phenomenal talent, but I was overlooking or ignoring things that really drag the quality of the film down. Those should not be ignored. I should not softball this movie. So we're going to talk about positives fairly and minuses. I also think fairly in a non-spoiler way. So starting with positives, I still think that the core cast did a really good job. I thought that Andra Day was unexpectedly good. I mean, towards the end, I just think that there were some things that got a little wonky and ridiculous, but for the most part, her character is very seething, silently angry with occasional outbursts. I really think she did a phenomenal job with that. Glenn Close was a riot, an absolute riot. You might have seen some of the memes going around of her with the long nails and the cigarette. I don't know if she has a cigarette, but the long nails, the chunky jewelry, the bare shoulders, and the big gold Berta chain necklace. I mean, she was a vision. That was an iconic Glenn Close performance. We all need to be a little bit more like Berta. I don't think it's spoiling it to say, like, she is a little bit ghetto, a little bit white trash, but just an icon. Completely does not give a crap what anyone else thinks about her. We could all be a little bit more like Berta. Monique is back, and I really think she did a solid job in an ironic swing. So the last thing she was in with Lee Daniels, I'm pretty sure, was playing Mary in Precious. And now she's back as a social worker in this film. And so she has to be very serious, very to the point, very dedicated to her work, trying to help children. I know a lot of people have a negative impression of DCFS or CPS, but her character really is trying to do right by children at large. I really think that she did a great job humanizing that role and destigmatizing, because there's a DCFS, let's just get real here, has a terrible reputation. There are a lot of overworked people, maybe people that are in it for the wrong reasons or just are not effective at their jobs, are not great advocates, but they do not represent every agent in the system. Monique is playing a good one. She's still flawed and complex, but like the intent is good. She's not just trying to rip children away or leave them in an obviously terrible situation. It's just unfortunate that, when demons are involved, that's not a very scientific thing or a very easy thing to measure. You know what I mean? So she's sort of in a hard position. But yeah, for me, I would say that the only other positive at this point that I can really settle on is the house. Whoever scoped out the house and decided to film there, like, that's where we need to set this movie, did a good job, because I really think that the house had a lot of character, a lot of personality. It was very creepy. It worked well for the setting. Okay, but I'm going to be kind of rapid fire on the negatives because I just don't want to get into the spoiler details. I get tempted to do that, but it's unoriginal, very cliched. Lee Daniels copied so many tropes from so many haunted house, demonic possession movies. The biggest issue, though, by far, is that the film is just not scary. I know that that's going to be subjective. For some people, this might be a horrifying, chilling, just unsettling experience, but for me, like, I consider myself a seasoned horror lover. I just need a little bit more from a horror film. Another thing, too, is the pacing never quite finds its footing. I don't think that I'm ruining it because, like I said, this film's very unoriginal, so a lot of the same type of early shenanigans are going on as the demonic force is building its strength and power, but, like, we never actually get a sense of a building oppressive force. It's just like, okay, there's some weird things going on, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, but it's still just not terrifying. I don't know why Lee Daniels had so much confidence in really horrible CGI for critical moments, and just had no sense of like, you know what, there are ways that we could deliver really effective scares, deliver more visceral on-screen visuals with practical effects. So much was left on the table. I was really disappointed in Lee Daniels in that regard. I also think that the writing was overall a mess. I want to say that the performances from the actors absolutely elevated the material that they were given. It is not a good script in my opinion. In my opinion, if you think that like story-wise, the dialogue and whatever, if it feels like it has flow, that is purely because of the actors. Actually strip it back and like just if you were to transcribe and to then read those words on a page, like trying to create the character in your head like in a book, it would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There are absolutely some scenes that were meant, I think in Lee Daniels' head, were meant to evoke unspeakable horror, and they have become comedy memes on, Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram. There's one of Glenn Close. I'm not going to spoil it. It is not the one on the porch that I already showed. If I showed it earlier in the video, there is another meme of her going around, and it is just the most ridiculous I'm trying not to curse. It is the most ridiculous thing on the internet as of the time of filming. Labor Day, literally on Labor Day. It is so just crazy, and I cannot believe that they did that to Glenn Close. But you know what? She shows up and she delivers. She still put her all into that. I would show the meme, but it needs the subtitles that go with it, and I'm not about to put that on the screen on here. It is just, I would get in trouble. Another thing too, this is not like a strong negative, but films like this, they all do this. They really stretch the based on a true story disclaimer. I really feel though that this film probably stretched it extremely far. Like there were aspects where I was like, you know what? Like I'm vaguely familiar with the alleged true story. I knew about some sequences that made it into the film that were in the lore of the original story, but there were several moments where I was like, I'm not super fresh on the alleged incidents, but I know for a fact that shit did not happen. Oh, sorry. I'm trying not to curse. But I was like, I know for a fact that is just something that Lee Daniels pulled out of wherever he gets his crazy ideas for these movies. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I know that this is nitpicky, but one reason why I didn't say that the film was shot particularly well in the positive section is because I am a nitpicky bitch. There was a moment, it takes place in a McDonald's. I promise you that I'm not spoiling or ruining things. It's just a scene where Andra Day, the focus is on her face, as it should be, but then for a split second, it was either autofocus or intentional. I don't know which, but regardless, the focus switches to the coffee cup on the table, and then it switches back to being focused on Andra Day's face. That had no significance to anything going on in the plot. So it was either an error with autofocus on the cameras, or worst case scenario, me being cynical, McDonald's was maybe like a financier for the film, and so they had to make sure that the focus for just a split second was on a McDonald's coffee cup. And then it could switch back because maybe those were the terms. Like McDonald's was like, okay, we'll let you film in a restaurant and you have to feature a product. Doesn't matter what, but for a split second, a McDonald's menu item better be in damn crystal clear 4K Ultra HD. So that really bugged the crap out of me. It kind of has me wanting to do a rewatch to check for other wonky camera things that might have been going on. Like, if you're not a nitpicky bitch like me, then the film looks fine other than CGI issues, but that just grinds my gears. In conclusion, I really think that this film functions best as a family drama. In that sense, I really think that Lee Daniels, just based on what he has done well in the past, would have been better served here to approach this film more as a, did it happen, or was it just a collective family psychiatric event? You know what I mean? Like, or potentially even a media claim for attention. You know what I mean? I really think that if Lee Daniels had left it open-ended, then I think that it would have served his strengths better. I think that it would have given us more of those internal family stress dynamics. I really think that that would have been just a more solid picture overall. The fact that he does start with his strengths, like strained family drama, and then he just busts right up into whatever his vision is of a demonic haunted house possession film. It just doesn't work. That is too far outside of his comfort zone. He really bit off more than he could chew. Horror is not his genre, and that's okay. I still commend him for giving it a shot, giving it an old college try. But if he's going to do horror again, he either has to do more homework, study the craft that goes into good horror more, learn from some of the greats that have come before him, and really dive in, give it 300% more effort the next go round. Either that is what would be required for me to like going into another Lee Daniels horror film, to really feel like he learned and he grew from this experience. Otherwise, I really think he needs to stick to drama. Okay, I need to cut it here. There are more things I could talk about, but I think you get the general idea, the gist of it. I do want to end, though. Small spoiler warning, because I'm going to explain a trigger warning, potentially. I know some people roll their eyes at trigger warnings, but I do want to respect that for people who might, be interested in seeing this film despite what I've said, or they might be like, is it really that bad? Is it really that non-scary? So the trigger warning is CSA, especially within a family unit. CSA is short for child abuse. And then within a family unit, implying there was some either family involvement or family permitting others, knowing that others are conducting that activity on a child. That does come up as a recurring theme for one of the core characters. And so if that's something that is too upsetting for you to take in, then you need to skip this film. So that'll be my final discussion point, my final takeaway. Just, be kind to yourself, gauge your own comfort level and comfort limits. But with all that said, even though I have a harsher view on this film now, and some of that, just happiness seeing Monique back, some of that has withered, and I can kind of see the film more for what it truly is. I still am so happy that everyone came together to make this film. I think that this was a good launch pad for Andra Day to explore more acting performances. If you don't know Andra Day, she is a phenomenal, very soulful recording artist. Her voice is amazing. She sang that song from several years ago, The Rise Up. And she also does a hymn or gospel style song that plays at the beginning and the end of this film. And so that's her. If you hear that beautiful, silky singing voice, that is Miss Andra Day. And again, I still am so happy to see Monique back. I really want to see her in more drama roles. And I do like Lee Daniels overall. And I love many of his works. I mean, going all the way back to Shadowboxer. And I do want him to continue making movies. I really think that he does tell uniquely Black stories. And that is something that I wanted to talk about real quick. This is an interesting film because in real life, the principal players involved in this alleged true haunting, it was a Black family or an African-American family. And that is not something that you really see in a lot of these high-profile hauntings. Like think about the Snedekers or the Rhode Island situation, Amityville, any number of the Conjuring films that have been made. Like a lot of these high-profile cases focus on a white family that seems perfect on the surface but are harboring little fractures and cracks in the health of their family unit. This was important in that sense if you're looking at it from the faith angle, in the sense like it's not just quaint white families in Connecticut and Vermont and Maine and North Carolina that are getting haunted. This can happen to any family unit. It doesn't matter what you look like. The devil is not picky. I'm not saying that I personally believe that statement, but I'm just saying I think that was integral into Lee Daniels' approach of this film. Like we're not seeing like if you believe in evil and supernatural hauntings and whatever, then there just has not been much representation for Black families that believe they have encountered true paranormal evil. I strongly believe that Black stories of all types need to be told, including encounters with the devil. I just wish that this particular story had been told more effectively. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and to let me know in the comments what you thought of the film if you had a chance to see it. Was Glenn Close iconic in this? I mean, if you know, you know. And let me know. Just let me know any thoughts you have. What other films should I watch? I think that the next thing I'm going to start watching is probably Rings of Power Season 2, because I binged Season 1 over Labor Day weekend. That was it was a lot. It was a lot to take in, but I'm ready now for Season 2, but there's a lot to watch. Another thing I want to watch is, it's called like Lady of the Lake or something, because I went on a Dance Moms binge. I actually skipped the performances. Don't judge me, but like I skipped through all the dancing stuff, and I just like listening to Abby and the moms just bark at each other back and forth and be all crazy. But Miss Nia from Dance Moms, Nia Sue, professionally, that's her professional name. She starred in I don't know if it's a horror film or more of like a suspense mystery, but it's called Lady of the Lake, I think, and it's out for rental and on VOD and digital and all that. So I might give that a shot. And yeah, but let me know anything else that you would love to hear me talk about. I'll see you soon. Bye. Last little tidbit before I go. I also have a music channel. I'll link this in the description, the link to it. And I also have an Instagram where I live a very boring life. But if you want to follow, I would love to have you over there. And I'm planning on starting a horror gaming channel down the road. I have stuff filmed already. It's just I haven't gone through and edited it yet, because editing is just the bane of my existence. But I would love to see you over there when I actually have content up there someday. So that'll all be in the description. But have a great day. I hope you had a good Labor Day weekend, and carry on.